What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Sorry for the long break in content, but that's mostly due to the fact that I have quit World of Warcraft and switched over to Final Fantasy XIV almost full time now. I wanted to sort of get you all up to date on why I have personally quit World of Warcraft for Final Fantasy XIV and where this channel will be headed content wise. So starting off with the obvious, I think I'm not the only one that has decided to quit WoW, as bigger streamers such as Asmongold and Bellier have decided to try it, along with a lot of people from their guild. Now, personally, from my standpoints, I haven't really been connected to WoW like I used to be ever since probably they implemented 20-man raiding. I definitely liked the way that a 10-man group with a tight-knit close group of friends felt, and I think I sort of regained some of that with Legion whenever they had keystones where I could pal around with 4 other of my friends, but I just haven't been as involved in the game with some of the new keystone systems that they've implemented, and a lot of questionable decisions as far as character gearing. And unless you basically want to raid all the time, it almost seemed impossible to get gear, or you were getting out geared by random people that would get super lucky Titan Forges or super lucky corruption gear. And the grindiness and unalt friendliness, I suppose, of Shadowlands with, you know, renowned systems and conduits and soulbind characters. And if you're a casual player, obviously the lore differences in picking the certain covenants, whether you choose to be a min-maxer and make your character good or choose a certain path based on lore, it just felt very blah, to be honest. And I don't really know if I can continue to hope that Blizzard learns their lessons, because they don't really seem to accept a lot of feedback from betas and PTR testings. They just sort of go, well, we'll take that in consideration, but we think we know it's best because we're the developer and you're just the player. And it just really seems like they just don't understand it, because it seems like 6 months later they seem to have to revert all of their changes and bring out an entirely new crappy system that we also hate. And obviously that's just me ranting, but that's how I personally feel about the game. And while Final Fantasy XIV is not perfect by any means, I think if you're a full-time PvPer or all you really do care about is Mythic Plus, it's probably not the game for you, considering a lot of that content is currently lacking. However, the more people that jump over and start asking questions about it, they have decided at one point to talk about a possible revamp system for a lot of those, which I think could be interesting, and it could be a topic of discussion in the future. Now, if raiding or a lot of other casual aspects such as, you know, mount collecting, mod collecting, housing, for example, the raiding is on par, if not better than WoW by all sorts of, you know, reasons. Master Looter obviously is like a top one that I think a lot of people from WoW miss, rather than this personal loot system. And the strategies that are involved with bosses are about as in-depth, if not more, because you have to do a lot of thinking on the fly rather than, you know, plan it all out ahead of time. So I think it's definitely good. And with it being 8-man raiding, you still get that close-knit feeling like you used to have in WoW. So for a lot of people who've, you know, joined bigger guilds and there's like, you know, 2 or 3 of your friends, it seems to be a lot easier to migrate over to Final Fantasy and pick up a couple other members, which is pretty much what I did with one of our old guilds from WoW. And, you know, I just think that a lot of the systems in place, once you get over the initial hurdles of starting the game, which is where I've quit the game 3 or 4 times, was definitely on launch, because it felt so slow. And I think that if I could bring you guys a series of videos moving forward to explain all of the systems, like, you know, questing, leveling, dungeons, raids, housing, you know, all these other things, and show them to you in a way that, you know, explains the differences from WoW, or how they could be better, or possibly how they're worse than WoW, and give you all, I guess, a general sense of what to look forward to in the game. And, you know, is it always going to feel like this? which by the way it doesn't, because you have main abilities which do feel slow because they are on a 2.5 second global usually, but you also have off global cooldowns that you have to weave in between, and it's definitely a lot harder than hitting 5 buttons in WoW, I can promise you that. So if this content is something that interests you guys, be sure to stay tuned and check out the next couple of videos coming up in the series. And if you want to take a jump start now, you can always visit my Twitch over at twitch.tv/sly1 and check out some of our endgame savage raiding content to see if that's something that you're interested in as well. And yeah, I hope to see you all in the next few videos. Take care.